Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our monthly EORE, our webinar series. We're very pleased that you could join us today for a session dedicated to a topic that became increasingly central in the humanitarian action and also in cross-sectoral collaboration. This is Lumna Allam. I'm the secretary of the Explosive Risk Education Advisory Group. For those who join us for the first time, the EORE Hour is an initiative that has been going on with the EORE advisory group for over 4 years now. The webinar takes place the last Wednesday of every month, with some exceptions like today. Each EORE Hour webinar, we have a speaker who presents on themes and topics that contributes either directly or indirectly to the enhancement of EORE. We have had over 15 webinars since the start of this initiative, and we have had professionals from related fields, from the EORE sectors, from mine action, from protection, and other fields that are related from all around the world that present their projects, their expertise, their innovation, and also the exchange of knowledge. So through this platform, we want that the URE community stay up to date with the latest knowledge, tools in the sector that shape the present and the future of risk education. So right now on the URE, our platform, we have over 800 people registered. So it's becoming a bigger and bigger community. For those who would like to review past webinars, I've placed in the chat the link to our YouTube channel. So you could take a look at the past 15 EORE hours. Um, for this year, we have EORE hours planned till the end of the year. But if you wish yourself to host the webinar, get in contact with me. I've also placed my email in the chat, and we can plan an EORE hour together next year. So before we begin, I also shared with you in the chat the latest EORE advisory group publication, which is the EORE progress report that it reviews the AG work over the past 2 years. It's an overview of the sector, and it also highlights challenges and also highlights successes. So today's webinar is going to be 1 hour, and it will be followed by 15-minute networking circle, providing the opportunity for you to connect. And we hope that you're going to stay for this part as well. And our webinar today, I'm very excited about it because it will take us to a new and a timely and a rich discussion on inclusive EORE and artificial intelligence. And it's actually a built up on our last EORE hour last month that discussed inclusive CPP and EORE and the different dimension of including people with disabilities. And you can also review this session on our YouTube channel. And I'm delighted to introduce our speaker, Kristel Juriloo, Program Specialist for Disability Inclusion Field Support at UNICEF. So Kristel will take us today to an interactive practical webinar, bringing the URE community together to explore responsible, disability inclusive uses of AI. We will discuss real AI use cases, try to co-create a tool together, and explore a beta version of an AI tool for EORE actors. So thank you, Kristel, really for bringing this topic to our table and also for spending your birthday afternoon with us. So in behalf of everyone, I wish you a happy birthday. And before handing over to you, I just want a quick reminder for everyone to feel free to use the chat if you have any comments, to share questions and reflections. And we will have also a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. So with that, Kristel, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be back again and to speak to you a little bit about artificial intelligence. We started to discuss use of AI to support work in the humanitarian sector and EORE specifically in the last webinar where we spoke about disability inclusive and accessible EORE. And Lubna mentioned that I tried to put together a beta or draft test version of a custom GPT, which is basically a chatbot that would provide advice on how to integrate disability inclusion in EORE programming. So the intention that I have for today is really to keep it as practical as possible and to hear from you and to have a lot of interaction. So I will, for most of the time, we will be working together on a whiteboard, just throwing together some ideas and discussing AI use cases for our sector. And after that, we can try together to build a custom GPT, to build a chatbot, just to have a go at it on how we can try to figure out how to use, how to make AI work for us. And then last, I can show you the draft, the beta version of the chatbot that I built. We can compare how the one that we built today looks like compared to the ones that I built previously. So that's the intention for today's hour. Just a couple of minutes to begin with to speak a little bit about AI governance. So as Lubna mentioned, right now I'm working as a program specialist for UNICEF, but I'm leaving tomorrow and starting a new role. But I wanted to share with you a little bit about how UNICEF has regulated and integrated use of AI in the overall work of UNICEF. And this will be very brief. We have, although all of the work is really starting, if I can say that, we have just established at UNICEF a global AI hub with experts on AI who will provide assistance to the rest of UNICEF on how to use AI, but assume also provide guidance in our policy and advocacy work, because of course we would want AI to be used in a way that is child-friendly and safe. And we're all aware of all of the risks related to use of AI. So UNICEF has an AI strategy and an AI policy guidance, but in terms of the more practical use of AI, we're still in the beginning. And I wanted to share my screen with you and show you the AI portal that UNICEF has launched, just to give you an idea of how UNICEF is working to integrate AI. And I believe you can see my screen now. And I will take away my notes. So I'm showing UNICEF's AI portal platform. This is only open to UNICEF staff, but just to show you what the different applications that are available to staff. So UNICEF is using Microsoft services. We have Microsoft Copilot, which functions similarly to ChatGPT, Claude, Google Gemini, all of the other chatbots. It's basically a large language. I always forget the right what the abbreviation stands for. An LLM, language learning model. which supports in, for example, summarizing documents, finding information on the web, and so on. And there are some other services here available also. We have something called UniBot. This is a chatbot that is integrated with UNICEF's systems. So it's possible to, for example, search for, ask for information about UNICEF's internal materials. So any information and documents that are internal on SharePoint that are not externally published and available on the web, we can search this information by asking questions from UniBot. We have also here a translation tool, which functions similar to Google Translate, and also some summarization tool. And I think I'll just show you quickly the Copilot interface. And unfortunately, I do not have a Copilot Pro license, so I'm not really sure the capabilities of Copilot Pro. But all staff have access to the standard version of Copilot. So here we can chat, ask questions. It's possible to upload documents and ask questions about the document. So if you have a big report that you don't have time to read, you can ask Copilot to summarize it. You can ask for if there's specific information in the report, if there are, for example, one last use case that I had for Copilot was to upload a document and search for pictures of children with disabilities that I wanted to pull out and include in another document. We also have a create function here, which is really great, or it will be once we have UNICEF brand templates uploaded here. So it's possible here to design, for example, an infographic, posters. You can upload an image and edit it. This is really great for if you have a big report or a presentation, a lot of content that you want visualized in a nice way or summarized in a nice way. And you can always, once you prompt and you get the output, the result with the content, you can always make changes along the way. So this will be a really useful tool once we also have UNICEF's brand templates here. I will now stop sharing my screen. Yes, we're back. I stopped sharing, right? Oh, I don't hear you anymore.
No, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. You see that I am not the most technical person. There we go.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect.
So that was just a brief overview of how UNICEF is integrating AI into our work. So once Copilot Pro licenses are rolled out to all staff, which I hope will happen, then we will have Copilot integrated in all of the Microsoft apps. So if you set up a Teams meeting, you can use Copilot to, for example, take meeting notes, transcribe, and so on. I even send out the meeting notes after. I know colleagues who work in private sector, it's quite common to have some form of AI tool that summarizes the meeting. Sometimes the AI even creates a short slide deck of the meeting with action points, and it's automatically sent out to those who registered for the meeting. So hopefully we will also have these options. And say with Copilot in Outlook, it's possible to summarize an email. So if you receive a very long email, Copilot can help you to identify what the key messages are in this email or what the actions that are required from your side. You can also ask for summaries of all your emails. So if you come back from vacation, for example, and you have 500 emails, you will be able to summarize the emails and see what are the emails that you need to take action on. So this will be incredibly helpful. And there are tons of other use cases, of course. And UNICEF has also been working on integrating AI into programming. I see the time is going fast, so I will just mention one example. We have a program on accessible digital textbooks for children, where we are supporting governments to digitalize textbooks. And in this process, also adding in accessibility features for children with disabilities and children who have different learning styles. One could say all children learn in different ways. So this is really useful for all children. It's based on something that we call universal design for learning. So all children will be learning from the same textbook, but the children and the teachers are able to adapt the content and how children access the learning content. For example, you can add in sign language interpretation or make the content more easy to understand, supporting children with intellectual disabilities and so on. And we are integrating AI in this program, and also teaching teachers on how to use AI to adapt their lessons, adapt curriculum, and seek all kinds of supports to be able to really individualize lessons for children. There's a lot to say, as I mentioned at the beginning, about risks and safety, data protection, who is accountable when you're using AI for advice. But this is something that maybe we can discuss along the way. Now I want to open a whiteboard, and I would like to hear from you. I'm really interested to hear your reflections on how you're using AI, what kind of tools you are using, whether you think your organization has a supportive environment for use of AI, or maybe you have a lot of issues, concerns that you want to raise about risks and safety. We're very happy to hear all thoughts. So my idea here was that I would share a Zoom whiteboard, and you can yourself add in your AI use cases or any thoughts and ideas that you want to share, or you can raise your hand, come in, and I can take notes, or you can use the chat also. So over to you. If you have any examples from where you have used AI, maybe you have asked Copilot to summarize a document or anything else. Maybe I can help to start us off. Oh, thank you. Yes, people are adding. Day-to-day tasks. It's great if you can maybe elaborate a bit, give some examples of what kind of day-to-day tasks we can use AI for. Yes, summarizing reports. This is a really useful one. research tool. Would be great to hear more your ideas on how to use AI for research. Obtain answers related to our work, daily tasks, create visuals and notes. Yes, exactly. Draft scenarios. Prepare conference programs. Great, great. Reviewing humanitarian needs and response plans or other extremely long documents. Yes. Learning correlations between geographic factors and explosive ordnance contamination to identify risk factors to inform EORE. When asking for important information, usually ask for the source of this information. That's a very good point. Google Gemini. Yes, this is an interesting tool. I've also recently started using it. I also got myself a Gemini Pro subscription, and I'm quite satisfied with it, especially the image generation. I am sure many of you have heard of Nano Banana, which is currently the best AI tool to create and edit images. Notebook LM is great for reviewing documents in a closed environment, not pulling from the internet. Yes, I agree. There is something in French that is a. I'm not so strong in French, but we
Yes.
can use that to
So,
translate.
yeah, it's l'intelligence artificielle peut être utilisée pour optimiser le déminage à travers des robots. It's basically that AI could be used to optimize déminage is demining.
Aha, I see.
Yeah, like robots, for example.
Yes. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you also raised this kind of example because we can go much beyond, these desk-based tasks. I mean, we have a lot of desk-based tasks in terms of, sending emails, writing content, meetings, and so on. But we can also use AI beyond that. Let me see if there are any other. Use ChatGPT, other AI tools for creating EORE messages and design. Using InVideo for creating videos. InVideo, I'm actually not heard of that tool. But yes, there are now more and more sophisticated tools to create videos. I also see if there's anything in the chat. So there's one question in the chat. How are you guys managing or mitigating harmful content or incorrect information provided by LLMs in a life or death context, such as in EORE? Yes, this is a good question. It depends what we use LLMs for. And I would assume that everyone who uses LLMs, whether it be ChatGPT or Copilot, knows that use of the information is your own responsibility, that there can always be mistakes. So there is nothing on the internet that is bulletproof. And there's another colleague who says, I personally use ChatGPT, other AI tools for creating EORE messages and design as well. That's interesting. If there's anyone who wants to come in and share elaborate a little bit more what your experiences are?
Yeah, if someone wants to share, you can raise your hand and I'm going to unmute you.
There is a hand up from Charles Valentine.
Hey, how's it going? What we use AI, or more specifically, we use computer vision models to take open source intelligence or open source information and videos to recreate explosive scenes after the fact. Not only from an education piece, but we also use it to create 3D models to bring it into, for lack of a better term, serious gaming environments to train EOD technicians. That's how we specifically use AI, or really more specifically computer vision.
And can you say which organization you're from and whether the organization has integrated these different tools that the organization pays for the subscriptions? Maybe you didn't hear
Yeah,
me.
sorry, sorry about that. I muted myself after the comment. Yeah, so we actually run an in-house computer vision model for it. So we don't pay any subscription. We built that ourselves.
That's interesting. Anyone else who would want to come in? Maybe we can start adding a couple of more AI use cases. I mean, there are a lot of, how to say, obvious AI use cases. For example, taking notes from meetings. I mean, all of us have a lot of meetings, and it's really useful to integrate AI, for example, co-pilots in a Teams meeting to take meeting notes.
Let me make sure before.
Because you can always go through the notes yourself afterward and see if there's anything that has been that AI has missed and add. And there's also an option to have real-time, I'd say real-time summarization of what is being talked about in the meeting. So if you come in, for example, late, you will be able to, quickly get a summary of what has been discussed, what the key points are, and if there are any questions that you should follow up on. So it saves a lot of time. So meeting notes, I mean, summarizing has been mentioned. It's not only relevant in terms of summarizing reports or documents we need to be familiar with, but also summarizing emails. Maybe some of you use Gmail. I mean, Gemini is now integrated in Gmail, and you have a summary of your emails in your Gmail. But I don't know if any of your organizations have AI tools integrated in your email yet. But this is another obvious use case. And other examples that I want to mention, for example, support to brainstorm. So I don't know how Copilot functions, but with ChatGPT Pro, you can have a video call actually with ChatGPT and get help to brainstorm ideas. So if you have to, somebody wrote that sometimes you need support in terms of setting up a program for a conference or an agenda for a meeting or something like this, you can use AI to bounce off ideas. And you can even, if you have a ChatGPT enterprise account, you can call in ChatGPT into your meeting with your team where you are brainstorming, and it will help you to take notes, and it will also provide suggestions, maybe new ideas that you hadn't thought of. I don't know if there's anyone present here who has used that option, but this is another use case that I thought would be relevant for our work. Research was also mentioned here on the whiteboard. So I really think, let me try to zoom in here more. Yeah, I really think AI will be useful to support collecting data and evidence and gathering information. There are tons of different AI tools that can help with this. There's also an AI tool that's specifically developed for the humanitarian sector called Gannett AI that has human-in-the-loop verification and only pulls information from verified sources. So they have people who choose which websites information is pulled from and what kind of reports and materials that information is pulled from. So it's a chatbot, just like Copilot or ChatGPT, but where it searches information from is limited. Copilot and ChatGPT, they search the whole web, right? And they use specific training data. So it's less transparent where exactly the information is coming from. Unless you do, as one of you had noted down on the whiteboard, that you request for sources and links to sources. So this is something that I also do when I try to, for example, find examples of UNICEF's work in a specific field. I ask for sources for the examples and I ask for links so that I can do spot tests and check that the information really is correct. Desk review is another example. I mean, it's similar to research. We do a lot of desk reviews, a lot of gathering information and putting it together. We can use AI to do the desk research for us. And very often we do desk research based on a specific set of documents. So then you would basically just upload the documents that are relevant. And then it all comes down to the prompt, how you articulate your questions about the information that you have uploaded. So if you give very articulate instructions, you're very clear about what exactly you want out of the desk review, how you want it to look like, how long you want it to be, what kind of wordings you want used, technical language or non-technical language. You will get the output that you want. Other things that have been mentioned, producing materials like, for example, visuals, images. As I showed you in the beginning, UNICEF has this AI portal where we're able to create infographics. We're basically able to do graphic design. So if we need to develop a flyer for an event, visualize information that we have received, create a PowerPoint presentation, or an Excel, anything. we're able to use AI for that. For example, with Copilot, if it's integrated in your organization, as I assume it will be with UNICEF, then you're able to upload UNICEF's brand template for PowerPoint presentations. And then you can just add in, provide the content, the information that you want presented on the slides. And then Copilot will put together the PowerPoint presentation for you using the brand template. So I know, at least myself, I have spent a lot of time from my work hours putting together PowerPoint presentations and basically just, trying to make them look nice, finding pictures, making sure there's good, representation in the pictures, girls, boys, different types of disabilities, different geographic locations, and so on. And this is all work that is something that AI can do much faster. So these are the examples that I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much, everyone, for throwing in ideas, and I'm really glad to hear that and see on the whiteboard that many of you are already using AI, and all of you have different ideas for how we can integrate AI in our work. So thank you for this. Now I wanted to go over, to move to the custom GPT. We stop sharing this whiteboard.
Yes, now we can.
Great.
Perfect.
Yes. Sorry. All right. So for custom GPTs, I hope I will be able to explain this well. As you can maybe notice, I am not a very technical person. I'm not a programmer. I don't work in IT. I'm just basically trying to figure out all these different AI tools and how we can use them in our work. For Copilot, if you have a Copilot Pro license, there is something called Copilot Studio. So it's also possible to create customized chatbots in Copilot. Same with Google Gemini. There's something called Google Gems. So there are different tools that basically do the same thing. These are all LLMs that function similarly. Okay. So I have my own private ChatGPT license, and I use it for work and and private things, of course. I don't Google anything anymore. I use AI to get support also in my private life. And my intention now is to create different customized GPTs, customized chatbots for specific tasks that will help me in my work going forward. So whether it be working for UNICEF or another institution or as an independent consultant, I will be using AI to help me in my work. And I have actually created a couple of chatbots already, but I want to show you and to get your help on creating a custom chatbot that will provide information about disability inclusive EORE. So, see. It's been a while since I did this. So there is a GPT store, and there are a lot of different customized chatbots here. So you can search for anything here. These are, people just in private capacity, or maybe there are also some companies who have created chatbots. So these are available for anyone to use. And as is with all AI tools, everything is your own responsibility, how you use the chatbots, how you use the information that you receive. As is, using the internet is your own responsibility. So if you want to create your own chatbot, you go to the option to create. And it's really, really simple. I mean, if I can do it, then you can do it. And I'm sure there are other people on this call who are much better at this than I am. So we see here on the interface that we're able to configure this chatbot. So we can name it exactly what we want. We can describe it, and then we can give it instructions. There's also options to suggest conversation starters. These are, the prompts. I'm sure all of you have encountered chatbots in your private life also. For example, your bank. If you log into your digital bank and you have some questions that you don't have the answer to, there's usually a chatbot where you can ask questions, right? This is the same. So that chatbot will usually have some conversation starters and some predefined responses to questions that they anticipate that people ask. So it's exactly the same. And here you can also upload a knowledge base. So I know OpenAI keeps changing the possibilities with these GPTs. I know last time I was creating these chatbots, there was a limit to how many files you can upload. I'm sure there's still a limit, and it's always good to limit your knowledge base, really try to consolidate the key information, because the more information you have, the more difficult it will be for the chatbots to provide, how to say, concise, accurate, and specific advice. You can also here recommend which model users will use when they use this chatbot. And I'm not very good at explaining, what's the difference between the different models, but there is a difference. So we are also able to use a function called create. So it's basically like conversing with ChatGPT. You can work with the GPT to create the GPT. So if you don't have really clear ideas of what the name should be, what should be in the knowledge base, you can ask questions, and it will help you along the way. So creating a chatbot that will provide advice on disability inclusive EORE. And sorry, I'm not able to see anything else on my screen, so please do just come in. What should we name this chatbot? Nobody has any ideas? Then I will actually ask GPT if it has any ideas. So you can see that I have chosen, I'm using GPT-5 and the thinking model, which takes longer to respond. And sometimes this is not necessary. We can actually skip this. Otherwise, we will be sitting here for a long time. So the suggestion for the name is that it should be called an inclusive EORE advisor. So this communicates the focus. See, it doesn't know what EOR is, so we haven't been specific enough. We need to explain what we mean. You're also able to create a profile picture for the chatbot. It usually provides a suggestion, and you can make edits. If anyone has any ideas for how this picture should look like, then come in. Otherwise, the picture that we have suggested here is okay. We have some warning signs, a sign of a wheelchair with text underneath, universal advisor. This is fine. But of course, we could ask it to create a picture that shows that inclusion and accessibility is more than only physical accessibility. That the focus shouldn't be on wheelchairs, but on all the range of all types of disabilities. But we can use this for now. So you can see here that it has added the name, Inclusive EORE Advisor. If there's any descriptions we would like to add, we can add it here. If anyone has any suggestions, I'm really keen to hear from you. You are the experts on EORE, not me. So if you have a chatbot that, for example, an organization that you would use. So if you want to seek advice on how to work in a disability inclusive way, how to develop EORE materials for persons with disabilities, do you have any ideas of what the chatbot should know? What should its knowledge base be? What kind of instructions should it have? I hear only silence. I see that we have 9 minutes left. What I wanted to do was to show you how easy it is to create a chatbot. But of course, I mean, it's a little bit difficult maybe to do this, how to say, on a standing foot. It's good to have, thought a bit through what the name should be, what kind of information this bot should have, what is exactly the key information, what kind of instructions should it have, and so on. But as you can see, this is very easy. And I'm assuming with Copilot Studio, it's very similar. You just need to provide instructions and it will function the same way. And of course, it will be in line with how to say data protection and transparency issues of the organization, if your organization is using Microsoft.
So, Kristel, I'm seeing people responding that they cannot unmute themselves. Well, when you raise your hand, then we're going to unmute you. So we have Daniela raised her hand.
Yes, yes. As I said, I cannot see anything else than my
Yeah.
screen. So, so Lubna, will you unmute if there's anyone who would like to come in?
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, Daniela, I sent us to unmute. Yes. But we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, well, this is Kristel, the Global Coordinator for the Mine Action Area Responsibility and UNMAS representative in Geneva. First, thank you so very much for this presentation and for all the information that people are sharing. I think it's fascinating, and I hope that it's just the beginning of a conversation because there's a lot to unpack in all these suggestions. But I wanted to ask you, as you're developing this inclusive EORE kind of advisor, right? Would it be possible to make it accessible to the EORE community of practice so that we all fit content into it? So it's not just you, but there's, at least 400 or 500 people in the EORE community of practice, which means that this chatbot would become extremely powerful and have shared knowledge. So I wanted to ask if that's a possibility to coordinate and share knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniela. Lubna, should we take a couple of more questions? And then I can try to respond, and then I'll end it with showing the version of the bot that I created.
So we have one question. Would it be possible for AI to create daily operations for EORE sessions?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Would it be possible for AI to create daily operations for EORE sessions?
Daily operations?
Yes.
I assume, please correct me if I'm wrong, I assume you mean, for example, putting together the agenda, the materials that are used, maybe data collection forms for participants.
Yeah, probably. And
Yes.
If the participant want to elaborate more, you can raise your hand and I can unmute you.
But I understood correctly, there are no more questions, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So first, to answer the questions for using AI to support EORE sessions, yes, there are of course many use cases. We can look at the whiteboard where you have suggested different use cases. We can use AI for anything basically. But of course, the quality of the output that you get will depend on what AI tool you use. I mean, there's a big difference between the different tools. I have tested, asking the same question from different tools, and there is a difference on what kind of answer you receive. And also, it's important how you ask the question. So if you go to ChatGPT or Copilot and summarize this report, it will summarize the report. But what is a summary of a report? Maybe your idea of a summary is something different than my idea of a summary. So if you are more specific, the more the better the output will be. I'm sure this makes sense. And of course, we can use AI to create agendas for meetings, for EORE sessions, to develop materials, anything basically. And I'm really glad that Daniela raised this, that we need to work together to develop these tools. So it's, I have no right to put together a GPT, an inclusive EORE advisor, without consulting with organizations or persons with disabilities, or with actors like you, who have the practical field experience of what kind of advice is needed, what are the AI use cases, what are the risks and so on that we need to think about when we are putting together a chatbot like this that people will use in the field. I mean, we really want to make sure that the responses that are provided are of quality, right? With the Copilot Studio, it's possible to work together on developing a chatbot. And I believe it is also possible to do this across organizations. At least I hope so, for the sake of this sector, that we are able to collaborate when we are developing AI tools. So I really hope we're not ending in a situation where every UN agency has their own tools, every organization has their own tools, and nobody is collaborating. I hope we'll be able to work together to develop tools that all organizations can use. And again, making the point that if we are developing tools that will provide advice on how to reach persons with disabilities, we obviously need to bear in mind principles of localization, working with the affected population, hearing with or from organizations or persons with disabilities, to make sure that the advice provided really is of good quality. And of course, there might be differences in between geographic locations or emergency context and so on, what quality advice would look like. So maybe we would need chatbots, that are really specialized. So as I said, the more specific we are, the better. So I'm not really sure if it's useful to have an inclusive EORE advisor that gives advice on a global level, or if it would be more relevant to be even more specific. Maybe take, I don't know, developing EORE materials as one chatbot, and maybe divide the chatbots per geographic location, for example. I will share now, when we are now winding up, I will share with you quickly how the draft version of the chatbot that I put together looks like. And I have actually made it available on the GPT store. So if you go to the browser and you find ChatGPT, and you go to the GPT store and you search for inclusive EORE, you will be able to find it, and you will be able to use the chatbot actually. So I have here, close this. I have also named this chatbot the Inclusive EORE Advisor. I'm trying to make put a disclaimer here that this is a beta version. It's just a draft. I mean, basically, it's like a gimmick to show the sector that it's possible for us to work together to develop something like this that could be useful for our work. So you can, as I said, we have the name. There is a profile picture, which shows or it's supposed to visualize different types of disabilities. So there's a picture of an open book and hands, a warning sign, and a wheelchair. So just, to not have only a picture of a wheelchair, because the persons with disabilities and disability inclusion is more than about wheelchair access and physical accessibility. There's a description of this GPT. So this description is maybe a bit to say arrogant. It's providing expert advice on disability inclusive EORE based on global guidance and best practices. And there are a couple of conversation starters. So I can myself regulate what these conversation starters are. So when a user, one of you, for example, finds this GPT on the GPT store and goes to its chat, you will get some suggestions. And it's also possible to not have conversation starters if you don't want them. And I will show you also what I have put in the system instructions. Now winding up. So, as you remember, when we were looking at the interface, when we were trying to put together a GPT, it's the same here. We have the name, the description. We have conversation starters. For example, one conversation starter is a question about how can I make EORE sessions accessible to children with disabilities. There is a knowledge base here. So this is really key to get right, I think. Not too much and not too little. And there's tons of different advice online, what are the best practices here? Because of course I could just upload, the interagency guidelines on including persons with disabilities in humanitarian action, which are, hundreds and hundreds of pages. But it is advised, at least what I've learned, it's advised to really consolidate the key messages, because the more specific and concise knowledge base you have, the better the output will be. It will be easier for the GPT to know what is the important information. So here I have uploaded. This is maybe a little bit random. I have one document that is trying to consolidate different key messages from guidelines on inclusion in humanitarian action and in EORE. I have the child functioning module, the humanitarian version of it, so the GPT would know how to provide information about collecting data on children with disabilities. And other examples, like, for example, I have a case study of UNICEF Yemen's work on inclusive EORE here also. For the instructions, this is maybe not so easy to show. Let me see, maybe I can make this bigger. And there's also a lot of text, so we won't not be able to go through all of this. But and they are maybe a little bit long. I have recently edited the instructions a bit to try to address the concerns about data protection and accountability. And I'll share just now quickly some of the advice that I know about prompt engineering, which also is relevant for how to provide instructions for a chatbot. So it's always good to provide the chatbot, or when you are prompting an AI to do something, it's good to give it a role, assign it a role. How should it act? Is it a journalist? Is it a graphic designer? There's research on this, that the output that you get differs depending on whether you assign the GPT a role or whether you do not. So if I ask a question and I tell ChatGPT, act like an expert on inclusive humanitarian action and summarize this report, the output will be different than if I just go to GPT and say, summarize this report. So I've tried to integrate some of these best practices on prompt engineering in the instructions here. So I've assigned it the GPT a role. I have some information here about, what is in its knowledge base, what should it focus on, how should it provide responses. For example, here I've written that every answer should include citations from credible sources to allow for human verification. But of course, maybe I should here be more specific in terms of what exactly are credible sources. I've also written here that the GPT is supposed to communicate any challenges or limitations in responding. So, and I have tested this before. It does actually say that it doesn't know if it doesn't know. Usually ChatGPT will, try to fill in gaps and provide you information, because that is how the general, LLMs are trained. But you can, through these specific instructions, make it better. One point that I've added here also is to make sure that the GPT doesn't ask follow-up questions. This is something that I added in because it's quite annoying when you are conversing with AI. You have a task, maybe, for example, a report, and you want to get some information out of it, and it keeps asking you follow-up questions all the time. Copilot does the same, and it's really not useful. So I've tried to eliminate this by telling it in the instructions not to do it. I have also added in here some general information that the GPT will provide every user when they start using it. So if you go to GPT store, find this GPT and start asking questions, it's supposed to have a disclaimer or a welcome note that will be provided to every user. So this I was trying to here address the concerns about data protection and accountability and so on. So I want to make sure that users are aware that everything on the internet or when you're using AI is whatever use of the information, that's your own responsibility, obviously. There's other examples here also where I try to address these issues, like making sure that the one that has created the GPT, me, or there be an organization, that we're not accountable for the advice that's provided. It's that's the responsibility of the user. I think I will end it here. So I have shared the instructions for this GPT with my colleagues in the disability team in UNICEF and also with IT. And I believe they are going to transfer this over to Copilot. And I hope that will also be shared with other UN agencies and other actors. And hopefully we'll be able to collaborate to improve the knowledge base, the instructions, and also make sure to really have a continuous audit of this tool. Because I have a private account, I don't have an enterprise account. I'm not able to. I don't know, how many people are using this GPT, what they're asking, or what kind of responses are being provided. I don't know. But if we create something in Copilot Studio, we're actually able to review that. And we're able to check if the responses are really of good quality or not, and then adjust along the way. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry I went over time. I always do this. Are there any pressing questions? I'm sure there are many. And this is, of course, just the start, and it's just a little a flavor of what AI can do for us. And there's a lot of conversations we need to have, especially to address, the issues of bias, transparency, data protection, cybersecurity, and so on. And also making sure that these tools are accessible for persons with disabilities, and so on. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Kristel. And I think we can skip the EORE hour since it's not the EORE hour, the networking circle. And maybe it's better since we are already 28 participants. Instead, if anyone has something to share, a question or a reflection, they can raise their hand. Or now I open, yeah, they can raise their hands and then I could unmute them.
I think it's from Daniela. Yes.
Yeah, it's Kristel, I think. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Hi. Yes, so I'm using Daniela's account, Madame Kristel. Yeah, no, this is fascinating. And I just wanted to say it seems that we need a longer conversation on all this, because you threw so many ideas and people had so much to share. How do we, follow up to basically in support of improving the impact of EORE? Yeah, do you have any thoughts? And also members of the advisory group, is it something we should put in the work plan for next year? We also organize, I mean, on Messenger ICHG, we organize an annual Mind Action event, which happens in April 2026. It would be fantastic to basically have some concrete presentation on how people are using AI to improve the reach and impact of EORE, and really look at the results. Is that really helping us to protect people? So thanks a lot. It's wonderful to have you, and over to you.
Thank you, Kristel. The name confuses me. Yes, that's definitely, this is not sufficient. We need a lot of time to discuss. Now, I know all of the organizations are a bit, doing catching up. One thing is, how we in the sector work together to use AI, but obviously our organizations also need to integrate AI. I mean, you can see I'm in a bit of a pickle here because UNICEF uses Copilot. I don't have a Copilot Pro license. I'm using ChatGPT as a private person, but we are not allowed to use ChatGPT. I mean, I use it with like publicly available information, but still. So our organizations really need to find a way to regulate this and integrate AI in all of our work. I mean, it's not sufficient that some people have, AI tools accessible to them. It has to be accessible for everyone in the sector. I think only then we can start discussing how we can collaborate. But definitely, I hope AI will be a part of the work plan. It's not only about integrating AI into our programming, how to develop EORE messages, how to train teachers on use of AI. It's also about how to integrate AI in our work, how we can be more efficient using AI, for example, summarizing emails instead of reading through them. There's a long way to go, but we are getting started. Yes, I think all of the UN agencies use Copilot. And I'm excited to see how Copilot Pro functions because Copilot also uses GPT-5. But there are some, I mean, I'm not an IT person, but there are some limitations in terms of, for example, so OpenAI is the company that owns, that has ChatGPT. and they use whatever you write in ChatGPT can be used for training or whatever. But when we have these enterprise agreements through Microsoft Copilot, we're able to regulate what kind of information is shared with OpenAI.
Indeed, I think we don't have any other questions. So if Kristel, you're okay, we could. I see now. Kristel love for his question. Um, for now, we don't have any systematic use of AI like in our daily work. Like for example, in emails, like for example, UNICEF is adopting Copilot. Right now, we don't have any systematic use in our day-to-day work. So, and I think also it's the case I could read from the chat for many other organizations. And as you mentioned, it would be helpful to raise that for the EORE advisory group, uh, because as we said, it's something new, it's something fresh that right now it's getting mainstreamed, and it would be important to hear about experiences, about how people are using it, and start applying it bit by bit. So for that, Kristel, I thank you so much for guiding us through today's interactive and very inspiring presentation, and encouraging um, your insights on how to use AI and EORE, and the practical exercises also that you gave us. You gave us a lot to think about and to take forward in our work. So we truly appreciate your energy and your expertise, and good luck in your next step. And we'd be happy to have you to consult with you on that topic. So thank you very much, and thank you everyone who managed to stay with us even 20 minutes after the planned time. But indeed, it was very useful, I think, and I believe that we will have lots of follow-up discussions. I'm going to send you in the follow-up email. I'm going to ask Kristel for any resources, links that we can share with you, so that you can have that. Um, and also the recording. So thank you so much. And I'll be sending you soon the October EORE hour. Thank you, Kristel. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a good
you.
rest of the day.
Have a good rest of the day.
Bye.